All right, I have now started the starting soon piece.
Hey, Talon, how's my sound? Remet talked about in that last 24 that my sound sucks.
Oop, hold on here.
It probably does.
I mean, I don't know about what the equipment is saying. I think you sound just fine to my ears. Your video is just a tinge blurry.
Yeah, it was rough the last time. Right now it sounds fine.
Yeah, your audio sounds fine. It's your visual that's a little sketchy.
I'm not sure how to fix that. This is the onboard camera for the only laptop I have with a camera. Is it a signal strength thing? I could probably try and find somewhere else to sit.
No idea.
All right, I'm going to move us over. I see some people have shown up here because apparently our sound was bleeding through anyway. So luckily we weren't talking about anything specific.
Secrets.
That's funny.
Where are the questions coming in from YouTube?
Oh yes, this will be all from our YouTube channel. Can you guys welcome for everyone who's here? Can you hear the group? Just want to double check. And I can't listen. Welcome, Eric Belcher. Just want to make sure that our main guys can be heard. Couldn't hear bottom left. Ray, would you say something?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Did you hear Ray? His green icon set up. Ray seems a little quiet. Maybe if I...
Well, I was just gonna say that is kind of Ray, so yeah. Gonna turn his volume up a little more.
Let's try that. Can you guys hear him better now?
Testing. Can you hear me now?
He sounds like he's talking normally from the other end of a kitchen. No. All right, what is going on here? Sounds, audio. Let us try. Sounds, audio. That. All right, everyone say something.
Hello.
Hello. Test.
Check.
Luckily tonight we absolutely did not show up wearing the same shirts.
Totally
did
not
not
do that. Win all better. Perfect. Figured it out. Something was not going through properly. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for those of you who have shown up today. Good. Now you're much better. I hear voices. All the voices in your head. Welcome, everybody who has decided to join us today in this impromptu AMA. To get some things out of the way, the reason why this is happening so late during the night, for those of you who might be in Europe, we apologize. This happened to be the only available time slot that we could do at a last-minute notice. Because for us, it is only 6 p.m., and for Australians, it is the morning. So Europeans, I am very, very sorry if you are still awake and joining us today, but it just happened to be the only time we could. So let's get into it. Today, I have Ray, Randall, and Aaron with me today here to talk about generic BattleTech AMA stuff. But I know that with the launch, the Randall, is it the announcement?
The announcement and the pre-order page for the Essentials box at Target.
The announcement and the pre-order page for the Essentials box at Target. We wanted to throw an AMA together to talk about for anybody who might have questions on that, get some general information out there, and then, as usual, take some questions as they come in. 11 a.m. here in Australia, I know. It's almost like we planned it that way for your guys this morning.
Hopefully you'll get to see them in the fall.
So, with the evident rise of all our people in BattleTech, just because of the Kickstarter, we're going to go through and do just a quick round of introductions real quick. Just because there could just be new people here, and there are almost 15,000 new backers that we got to introduce ourselves to at some point. So, Aaron, you're in my top left. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Cahill. I'm the assistant line developer for BattleTech.
Randall?
My name is Randall Bills. I'm the managing developer for Catalyst and do what I can to support Ray and Aaron getting awesome BattleTech stuff out the door.
And Ray.
Hey everybody, I'm Ray Arasti. I'm the BattleTech line developer.
You will see that man a lot as he is continuously pushing out our universe. And I am Talon Coleman. I am usually the host for the AMAs. You'll see me floating here, floating there, some of the videos as well for the updates. So let's get into it. Before we start taking a lot of questions up front, why don't we talk about the Essentials box and not only what it means for BattleTech in general, but why we chose to go what in the public view would be seen as another exclusive product after having the 4 exclusives out there in distro.
I think this is probably something I can jump on pretty easily.
Okay.
So I don't think anyone in Catalyst necessarily likes exclusive products. And generally, I think we have tried very hard to stay away from the exclusive products. Unfortunately, the system nearly always demands exclusive products in some fashion. And when you're coming hat in hand to a much bigger partner, then you don't have a lot of wiggle room for being able to really negotiate anything. So the exclusives that we did with distribution, that actually was very clearly oriented at distribution and at stores, right? This wasn't for our website. This was, you have to go to a local game store and buy this product if you want to get it. And the reason we split it across distribution, across 4 different distributors across the United States, was helping them understand how incredibly popular you guys have made BattleTech right now. And that there are fans everywhere that absolutely want in, but they've got, and the best way to do that is in a store, playing it on a table. And so that allowed some of the distributors that still were a little on the fence, so to speak, about, hey, do we really want to go in big? This is a nice incentive where they can make, because again, you know, you may have the sales guy like our Matt Young, who is our sales guy at Alliance. He is amazing. He is a diehard BattleTech fan, fantastic guy. He pushes really hard, but then he has to answer to his bosses. He has to answer to his bean counters. And so then they have to go, well, why are we buying in on this 40-year-old property that I haven't really heard a lot about? And so then we have this exclusive product, you know, and so that's kind of why we did those force packs. Now, Target is a whole other thing, because as big as the Barnes and Noble deal was, and as big as the Alliance and ACD and Peachtree distribution was, Target dwarfs all of that. And what I mean by that is that, so just for an example, I have a really cool spreadsheet here because I love my spreadsheets, where I've literally tracked every single plastic mini that we have produced since 2018 when the new minis started coming out. And right now we are sitting, before this latest print run of a Game of Armored Combat hit our store shelves 2 months ago, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, we had sold about 65,000 copies of a Game of Armored Combat in 4 years. That's stunning. It's amazing. We've all been doing handstands. Distribution loves us. That has kicked endless doors open, and you guys made that possible, and that's fantastic. Thank you. Beginner box set, same thing. Over 60,000 copies in 4 years. And then the Clan Invasion, over 25,000 copies in 2 years. So 3 box sets running well over 1,000 units a month, year after year. Absolutely stunning, right? Like, just, you could not have convinced any of us that this is what BattleTech would do 5 years ago. Our first print run with Target, what's heading into the first part, heading into the stores, and then what is about to get on a ship in, I think, 7 days, 60,000 copies in one go. That's just trying to show you a little bit of the scale difference. And because of that, because, you know, they have 1,900 stores, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Our entire industry comes with hat in hand, begging them to give us the time of day. And the vast majority of time, they don't even notice that you exist, right? You have to be selling 50 to 75,000 copies of any game before they'll even deign to look at you from on high. And then, even then, the vast majority of the time, they're not even going to look at you. And so we would have loved to be able to go, here it is, Target, and then we're going to sell it. We're going to do this. We're going to send it overseas. We would have loved to have done all of that. But the differences of our ability to have any impact on Target at all is incredibly minuscule. They are just this giant mass market titan. And we are stepping out of where we feel big, and we are big in
the hobby trade.
In the hobby trade, we are big right now, and you guys helped us get there. That's amazing. But the moment our toe starts moving out into mass market, we are nothing. Okay. And so there was no negotiation. There was no anything. It was, these are the deal. And if you don't like it, walk. The reason we said yes is because we believe strong enough in how amazing BattleTech is, the game and the universe, how amazing you guys have helped us make it, that we felt there was a chance here for a whole new slew of players to be coming into this hobby. And those are long-term players. That's not somebody that just grabs the box set and done. Though, you know, you'll get plenty of those. But if we can get 5-10% of that much larger audience to come in, and suddenly they're coming to local game stores because that's where they're going to find, that's where they're going to be playing, that is just a huge boost to everybody. And so that's, you know, kind of a long-winded approach, but there's a lot of factors at play here. And I could drone on for hours about this and spreadsheets and all the reasons we decided to do this. But we really, I remember, I think a good way to sum up is somebody did a video, a fan did a video not too long ago called something like the greatest science fiction universe you've never heard of. And the first 2 minutes of it are wildly hilarious, but it really is kind of true. We have one of the coolest universes ever created. And the moment you get beyond our core hobby, almost no one has heard of it. And the Essentials and Target is a chance for us to change that, to open it up into an audience that is just so much bigger than we've ever had the opportunity to expand before. And that's just nothing but good for everybody. Everyone that loves and plays BattleTech, nothing but good for them.
So, Randall, I could talk a little bit about the development.
Sure.
An important thing to note is when we were approached with this deal, Target didn't request anything specifically. They wanted BattleTech in their stores. The only stipulation is that it's an exclusive product produced for them. So that's what we were handed. And, you know, Randall said earlier that for the most part, we're fans, we're consumers. We're kind of put off by exclusives too. But we have to look at what's good for the brand, for the IP, for the growth of it. But balancing the idea that it's an exclusive, and we know that it's shuts a lot of people out, balanced with the huge reach that this deal means. We applied that into the concept for the product, because we could have done something for Alpha Strike, Total Warfare. We could have come up with a brand new game. We could have done a card game. We could have done anything and presented it to Target. And what we came down on is it's got to be the beginner box. It has to be the same on-ramp that we're putting out for the brand right now. So with that in mind, the way to create an exclusive is take that beginner box, that same path that we've built for new players, and just tweak it a little bit so that it gives Target what they're asking for. And it also means that, it's something different than what we did with the last run of the beginner box where we swapped out a miniature. We have the Vindicator in there now. We went a few steps further so that still it has appeal for our, for you guys, our current customers. We tried really hard to strike that balance to give Target something unique, but at the same time, something that it's not an absolute must-have for a lot of you. It is, again, the beginner box. And if we've had time, we can maybe go over some of the material, what's new, what's different.
Yeah, there's a couple of people out there, and there's been a couple of answers that are questions that have flown by that we seem to have answered a little bit. The biggest one was just, would it be possible, I think that Randall kind of answered this earlier, but would it be possible to allow Target to sell to your non-USA distributors? I think kind of Randall kind of went over that on just how we're kind of, even though we're the big fish in kind of our industry, we're the little fish everywhere else, so we're not dictating what Target can and cannot do.
Now, so two follow-ups to that. One, which Ray kind of reminded me, every single game company that passes through this portal to Target does the exact same thing. The whole reason why the new D&D box set came out, even though D&D is, outside of Magic, is the biggest kid on our block in our industry, they had to go through the exact same thing and do a new custom box that would be exclusive to Target. It's the whole reason why they switched out to a new beginner box. So, we are not the only ones with hat in hand. We are still asking questions of Target, right? I still hope that we can find some way where Target's like, yeah, if you want to sell it by the end of the year outside the country, we don't care, right? We are still asking those questions. We have no answers at this time. But absolutely rest assured, those questions are already being asked.
And something I want to underline.
Go ahead.
A point that Randall made and Ray described in the process is, I understand it, and Randall, correct me if I'm wrong, we had to make a pitch to them of what the product would be.
Oh, absolutely.
Quite as simple just as they want BattleTech no matter what. We had to put together a product that would have been attractive, right? So to folks who say, well, why'd you do this, this mech everybody loves and this setting people love? Because people had to love it. If it was simply the beginner, I think we even had this discussion, if it was simply a beginner box with another one different mech, they wouldn't feel that was, the concern was they wouldn't see that as enough of an exclusive.
Yeah, it's been the number one biggest question is why choose the Yen Lo Wang?
Yen Lo Wang.
Yen Lo Wang. Yeah, why choose the Yen Lo Wang mech?
And that was part of the balance, striking the balance.
That is, I completely understand how you want that thing, right? It's the Yen Lo Wang, it's Justin's mech, it's Kai's mech, right? I completely get that. But as we've been trying to describe, we still had to make it enticing. Aaron's exactly right. Thank you for clarifying that. We still had to put a pitch together. And in fact, the first pitch we gave them didn't quite work. It was a slightly different than this. And we had to go through and tweak it up again. Because while, yes, we have this entire new market we're hoping, they are also a business and they want as wide a market as possible. And that means they want you guys that are sitting here listening to us in the US to also run out and buy it as well. And so there's a fine line of making sure that it fits what they want. Well, as Ray was saying, it's still a beginner box, so you really don't have to have it. And ultimately, if you're never, we have slowly begun the process of moving some of the designs that are in these boxes into, so you can get them other ways. So if at the end of the day, Target is Target and we are never allowed to sell this thing anywhere else, rest assured that mech will be available, but it's going to be some time. None of this moves fast, right?
That goes into a really good question that I'm sure many people have. does this mean that the Yenlo Wong will never be available again? And I assume the answer is always no, just because we know. But
Right. One,
go ahead, Ray.
This is one variant of the Yenlo Wong anyway.
Yeah.
But Randall already said that. Rest assured that we would see it somehow.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just a little bit of patience on all our parts, right? Like, again, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but none of us plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I doubt any of you plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So it may take 2 or 3 years, but if you can't get the essentials, but you want this mech, it will eventually appear. And as Ray said, there's nothing stopping us from doing another cool variant in another product. So
yeah, and that's why I feel like a lot of people are just really, really questioning on of just, hopefully this fills out most of you guys' questions. You guys chat on why the Yenlo Wong was used. Someone actually asked as well, does this mean that we'll see more Solaris 7 stuff as in force packs, stadium map sheets, etc.? Just because you were talking about the reach of BattleTech earlier on in your early stuff, Randall.
Not in the near future, but it's something we have been discussing. So
I think the best way to say it is we all love Solaris 7.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to just redo the maps and put them out there and we're done. When it finally does show up in all of its glory, we want you guys to be blown away. Like, I think the best example of that was our new Battle of Tukyid book compared to the original, right? Like, the team did such a phenomenal job at taking all the information that you guys have all had before and putting it out in a phenomenal, cool new way. That's our goal for Solaris. So things are in process. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's probably not even next year. But we are working towards it, and we want to blow ourselves and you guys away when it finally does show up.
We have to liberate it from the wolves first. It's brown on the map right now. We got to solve that.
You got the wolf like shaking in its teeth.
They might liberate themselves.
Yeah.
Seems good.
I know that was a quick Solaris 7. It happened to be just part of what you had talked about really early on with the reach of BattleTech. So
I knew that was going to come up. And part of it, again, is that part of the reason we decided to go with Solaris was just the visual. Okay. Again, thinking about a mom, Target's #1 customer is a mother by like order of magnitudes, right? And so she's then going down the toy aisle and is like, well, my son likes giant robots. What new thing should I get him for a gift? And the stadium image of the two mechs fighting in this gladiatorial image is an arresting image, and Marco destroyed it. I remember when it came in, and I just stared at it and stared at it and stared at it, because he just and he specifically did it as an homage to the original one that he stared at, who, all of us that are old enough stared at when we first got that box set. So that's part of why we ultimately went with Solaris, is because the image is so arresting that the mother might not even have to think about it. Even she's going to go, well, that's pretty cool looking, and grab it, throw it in the cart. And then maybe we've got a long-term customer that's, hunting down the local game store to keep playing. So,
yeah, recent years, people have said that to summarize BattleTech, it's Game of Thrones with giant robots. And for us older people, it's Doom with giant robots.
Yeah.
But condensing all that down to just giant robots fighting, robot jocks, that kind of thing, it's Solaris. It's the games. So that's the easier thing as for the entry product.
If I recall the Solaris up, it was locked in pretty early. Before
that
we
was
even
locked
quite
in
knew,
pretty early. Yeah.
Before we even quite knew what format it would be, before we had the beginner box idea, Solaris was part of it.
We had to make the pitch to Target, and it had to, again, the Target buyer is knowledgeable enough about BattleTech that he's even letting us in the door, but then he has to convince his team that has no idea what BattleTech is. So it's actually a good test bed. Did we hook them with our one-page pitch? And so that required Solaris to do it.
So really, the short of it all, for those who, because there are more and more people jumping in as we go on here, is that the Essentials box is really just the beginner box, just with new mechs.
Exactly. It's, you can think of it as another beginner box experience.
So other than, you know, the mechs that we just happen to have placed inside of it to give a draw to make. So what I'm hearing is the big reason why we use the Yenlo Wong is to get Target on board with actually bringing it to Target.
Yep.
So we've had a couple of questions fly by as I look for more. So if you guys have questions about the Essentials, now is the time to ask. You know, of course, we will also answer other questions I've been seeing fly by. So until I see some more questions about the Essentials box, we're going to go into some of the other questions as we go through. And one of them was, and again, it's just people suggesting, and it's kind of something that we've done, actually, I think within the current line, it's that, can you cycle a new Essentials box with Target every couple of years to make the old ones available?
I don't know. This is the first time we are dealing with Target.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one.
I would assume that we can. I think that's a pretty fair assumption. I would love to have that problem to deal with because it means 2 or 3 years from now, they're that happy with the sales. That potentially means hundreds of thousands of box sets have been sold. Then I think they would be happy to get a new skinning, and ours would run off and we would do whatever we want with it. So
and it's not like this variant won't eventually, like if Target basically said, like, let's say a year and a half from now, said we sold all of our stuff, we're happy, but we're not going to bring BattleTech back in. I assume that this is not a forever exclusive. This variant will come back in some other shape, way, or form, just like some of the other exclusives have.
Sure.
Are there any mech force packs you have not announced yet? Hoping for a Mac with a Huron Warrior reposed Devastator, and Wraith.
The Wraith is in the Alpha Strike box set. The Devastator is coming in the Mercenaries box set. And there are so many force packs that we have not announced that we are working on.
No, there's so many of them.
So many of them. Rest assured that we are not waiting 2 or 3 years for the next Kickstarter for new mercenary or for new force packs. There are force packs that are being worked on and have been being worked on for quite some time.
Actually, well, it was a really good one. This came by earlier for actually our RPG line of stuff. Are there any plans to make any sort of campaign book for MechWarrior Destiny, kind of like what D&D does?
We don't have anything for Destiny specifically. We are working on campaign material in general. So anything for the RPG would support Destiny and Time of War.
The closest thing you'll probably find is in the Touring the Stars series, which you have a couple of those on deck. Those include role-playing seeds that would be appropriate for Destiny, but they're not specific to Destiny. They work in a Time of War as well. So it's some role-playing content. It's been our main way to get new role-playing pieces out there. It's a good place for it, but they're not, a Destiny supplement per se.
I see Big Red there at the very front there saying, hey guys, for the Kickstarter, the Somerset Strikers box, are we going to be able to pick that box as a part of our pledge, or will it be add-on only? I believe that was add-on. Was that the last one that we were about to... That wasn't the last set that we unlocked, was it, Randall? What was the last force pack that they didn't quite get to? The 8 million one.
It's Somerset Strikers.
I believe that was Lauren said that was going to be add-on only.
I think it is add-on only.
Yeah, because it wasn't unlocked, it's add-on only. It's not one of your choices. But Lauren could inevitably change his mind, as he is the one who also designs a lot of the back-end Kickstarter stuff. So you might throw that in there, you might not. But last we knew, it was because it was not unlocked. It is a add-on only. Any ETA on the Proliferation Cycle Pack and the Rifleman Premium Mech being released to the general public?
The Proliferation Pack, I think that's still on the water. So we don't quite have one yet. I would probably put it around 2 months-ish from right now. But you know, the moment we have it, we will be jumping up and down, because that also means that the Snords Irregulars and the Urban Mech Lance pack are out. As for the Rifleman, or as we like to call it, the Rifle Boy, there was some production issues with that. John Kowaleski over at Monster Fight Club, our partner there, he's very conscientious about that. And the moment he saw what had happened, he basically recalled all of them, and they are in the process of, they've literally pulped all of the old ones, and they are redoing new ones.
And that wasn't just the Rifleman too, wasn't there another mech that did the same thing?
There were some production issues with the Phoenix Hawk, but it wasn't all of them. But we stopped both of them, and so they're going through literally every single Phoenix Hawk, and any that don't measure up are being pulped and reproduced, and then redoing the Rifleman. I don't have a date yet, because they are still working on all of that. Again, as soon as we have it, we'll be happy to announce it.
I think Jason H here in our chat has a really, I don't think he meant it as a question for us, but I really like it, so I'm going to pull it anyway. He says, of the stuff announced, what's exclusive where? I think only the Snords is exclusive to BNN ? So just because we can have it out there, what exclusives are currently out there, and where are they at?
So the when did that go exclusive? So Snords is not exclusive. The Proliferation Pack, Snords Irregulars, and the Urban Mech Lance are all open. They are not exclusive at all. It was the Hansen's Rough Riders. Hansen's Rough Riders, Kellhounds, and Northwind Highlanders, and I'm forgetting one other in there.
The GDL is exclusive to Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that one because it's not even out yet. I was trying to remember the Barnes & Noble one that was part of the original spread.
Wasn't that Wolf Dragoons?
No, that was the old spread.
Oh.
So many packs. Thank you. Aerodani Light Horse.
Oh, yeah.
Those four are currently in their various exclusive cycles. 6 months is the maximum, so it will go at least 6. They all came out in January. It will at least go to July. Some of them may end early. We've talked about, though I don't know if we've actually announced, that there is in fact a Grey Death Legion force pack that is on the ship with Snords Irregulars, the Proliferation, and Urban Mech Lance pack that will be exclusive to Barnes & Noble. And then the Essentials box. That is all the exclusives that currently exist.
So, feedback. Hello. With the new Kickstarter and all the stuff that's come out, what is and Randall, this is mostly for you because I know you got the list of it. What is the status of unfinished items from the last Kickstarter, and where are they kind of at? And I know, Randall, you generated a big old list recently of all of the unfinished items from the last Kickstarter, or something akin to it. Is that right?
Yeah, most of it is, let me pull up my little spreadsheet. Most of it is absolutely underway. Some of it is right on the verge of releasing. For example, we have the painting guides, which I have literally seen several PDFs that are ready and just about ready to start rolling out the door. So let me digital content. There we go. There was a couple of last little scenario PDFs that I believe are being worked on. There's some fiction that I think is rolling out right now. I think the only ones that are really kind of in a big holding pattern were the 3 ephemeral ones. There was a Beard Off rematch between us and the good guys from the Hairbrained Schemes. There was a MechWarrior 5 Unleashed, which was supposed to be Brent and I playing against Russ and his team over at Fighting Prada. And then there was a weird What Would Victor Do RPG character video that we're supposed to do. Those 3 are in a holding pattern because some of the people that are supposed to be involved in it on the other side are just incredibly busy, and it's hard to try and schedule something with them. I think everything else is well on its way. I think the only other big thing that everyone likes to talk about is Den of Wolves. I believe that is down to less than like 10% of the book needs to be written. They are actually very close to it. So I actually expect to see Den of Wolves this year.
Just because I saw it fly by and it was really funny. Someone was like, if you have any misprinted wasp necks that look squashed, why not release them as a Jason Wacko hero mech? That's just sad.
Well, that was the Rifle Boy. Whoever bought the Rifle Boy,
the Rifle Boy
at Adepticon now has a collectible.
Those will not be coming back out again.
Will not be coming back
out. I see that this is gonna be a question about Ironwind medals, just because I know that a lot of people have been looking at it. That they haven't been making a lot of industrial mechs anymore. Will CGL eventually make them, and conventional infantry for us Dark Age fans?
So I think conventional infantry is going to be off the table. It's incredibly difficult to get the quality that we want just in battle armor. And even starting the discussion of conventional infantry has given the production team aneurysms. So I really don't think it's going to be possible for us to do it. Not unless we radically change the quality level, which we just can't do at this time. Sorry, you were going to say, Ray?
I just want to throw in a caveat that there is probably no way we will put out conventional infantry in those standard force packs or any way that we can really produce them in good quality. However, we are still thinking about how we could get people conventional infantry somehow. So
you're absolutely right. There could be perhaps a premium release of them, like a limited release of them, but you'd never see them in a regular release force pack.
They are still part of the rules, though. I mean, they were in the beta test of the battlefield support rules.
And
so
the mercenary box set will have counters for conventional infantry.
That's what I mean. So they're certainly a part of the modern rules thinking. Don't extrapolate from we can't do a mini to they're just not going to be a part of the game anymore. They absolutely are.
Yeah, gotta have your PBIs, man. What was this? I know there was a second question there. What was the second question?
It was the industrial mechs.
Industrial mechs. There's no current plans, but one of the proliferation cycle, if Adepticon was any indication, it's going to be wildly successful. And that type of themed pack, as we kind of think of it, really opens up a lot of doors. And so perhaps one pack that actually has a couple of different really cool industrial mechs, sure, we could absolutely do something like that.
When will we see the Yellow Wong with the shield and hatchet sometime? What about shields in general or Black Knight sword?
I think that's one of the. There's no current plans, but Ray made reference to there's several incredibly cool variants, and that's one of them. So that could be one of the ones you see in the near future. But there aren't any current plans to do it. But it's a good possibility.
And just because we were talking about the industrial mechs and the infantry and stuff like that, let's throw the super heavies in there as well. Will we see super heavies in plastic?
I would love to see a new super heavy in plastic. Again, not anytime soon.
I mean, I personally would love to see an Omega or something. Just
As I'm literally looking behind Ray at our, three-legged thing there. We the whole reason we included that on the cover of Alternate Eras is we wanted to, just kind of reinforce that they exist. They're in the universe. Cool stuff is happening. It's just there's a lot of other minis that really need to come out before it does, but I so want to see one in plastic.
They're certainly part of the planning. That image that Randall just mentioned for Alternate Eras is the future.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. So
yeah,
gives you some sense.
It will come. I want to hold the giant thing in my hand and drool all over it. So yeah.
And of course, because we talked about infantry and super heavy, so immediately will we see clan vehicles?
Again, I wouldn't. I think what we're going to end up doing is seeing what the vehicles do out on tables for just a little while, right? Like the Kickstarter was phenomenal. It was beyond phenomenal. But I think we want to see, is it just phenomenal because it was the Kickstarter at this time and everyone's just super excited for everything BattleTech? And the vehicles only get lightly used, or particularly with the new rules that are coming for vehicles, are they an integral part of most gaming tables? And if that's the case, then I can't see why we wouldn't do some clan vehicles.
Just because it was funny is what does Talon need to do to get Destiny scale Locust? Really, just beg Lauren. Really, is what the answer is.
It's still only this tall. Come on.
No, you can't.
See, that would be a fun sky. That would be
that
fun.
Big? It'd not be a big mech even. It would not be a big mech even at Destiny scale.
See, I would immediately go the other way and want to be able to match up against some Adeptus Titanicus I have around here somewhere, and I want an Ares at Destiny scale.
Oh, that'd be awesome, actually. So cool.
So big.
What can you say about organized play at this time?
It's being worked on.
Yeah, I think it's just being worked on.
I'm not sure there's anything more we can say.
So I think we had a little bit.
We know how important it is. We've made some good strides. It's being worked on.
A lot of people talking about a Thorn. I had a question like that at one point, but
as in the Thorn.
Why didn't we put the Thorn in the beginner box?
Is that what it was?
Something like that.
Yeah, sometimes I'd like to echo the above question about why no Thorn. I'd like to inquire about the Hussar.
We wanted it to sell.
I don't know. I think I might have missed the question. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a little 20-ton mech. I'm not. Yeah.
I mean the question again. I might have missed it. Oh, hey, look, it might be the next one. Why have you not decided to put an Anthony/Ben redesigned Thorn in the beginner box?
I'm back to we wanted it to sell.
There we go. Will the new Savannah neoprene maps in the Kickstarter just be reprints of the new paper maps, or will they be new designs?
They are reprints. They're just those paper maps in neoprene.
Yeah, that's been the same thing that we've done for all the maps so far, I believe, right?
Well, the original maps that we did were 5 brand new maps that don't appear anywhere else. But everything since then, the Tukid maps, the Alien World maps, everything else has just been for those that love their neoprene and don't want the paper. It's just those same maps.
Someone asked, what are a few of the mechs available and or vehicles in the Essentials box, if you can talk about it? And I think that's something you talked about earlier, Randall. Ray, actually, excuse me. Talking about what actually is coming in the Essentials box. Just, is it one for one the beginner's box plus just the 2 mechs, or is it a little bit more, a little bit less? What direction are we looking at here?
I give a shout out to Big Red 40 Tech who's on here, and he put together an unboxing that goes through it.
Yes, he did. So for those of you
Yeah.
who are not aware in chat, Big Red is in the chat. If you happen to click on him, he does have a YouTube channel that did do, I think, either a day 0 or day 1 unboxing. Go check out his video. It is really awesome. But I know we have some boxes here in front of us, so for those who are here, we can also talk about some of the stuff here. But I do recommend looking at his video.
Yeah,
It's
Gorilla
really quick.
Games
one.
also.
Yeah, and Gorilla Miniature Games also did one as well. Both phenomenal unboxing videos.
I think Ray's looking for pieces, right?
Here, the short story has been replaced with a Solaris story by Michael Stackpole, and it takes place during the Warrior trilogy. I think it's a different character's perspective on some of the events in Solaris.
Yep, ties right into the Warrior trilogy.
We have the beginner sheets for the mechs included in the box. Note, however, that the actual sheets are the box standard Centurion and Rifleman, because actual Yellow One stats are a bit too much for the Rifleman. We've got the Solaris character pilot cards. We've got the 2 new mechs.
And to clarify, the 2 mechs then is that it is the variant on the Centurion, the Yinlo Wang, and then it is a standard Rifleman, but it's a repose of that Rifleman. So it is a new unique pose.
Right. And it's specifically Justin's variant, the original Yinlo Wang.
Correct.
The official rulebook, this is, with the exception of the artwork inside, this, I can't see what the, it's just the standard.
Being lost in your auto kill.
Yeah.
Your auto background.
Take my word for it. It's the standard beginner's rulebook. We have the instant guide to your sphere, and which is the 4-page introduction booklet to the universe. It's slightly tweaked to reflect. It's got the map breaking down the inner sphere. Solaris is added to that map. Is all. The punch board has the Centurion and the Rifleman. It also has Wolverine and Thunderbolt. So the only thing really unique besides the miniatures is we have a 1-page optional rules. These are cannot. There we go.
I'm just making a shirt with that right there. I'm gonna make a new shirt, and it's just the Solaris 7 arena map rules on a shirt.
We can definitely do that. These are very simplified Steiner Stadium rules. It's just a 1-page that we included in here. We have descriptions of the stables with a very simple bonus. If the players want to play as one of the stables, they get a little in-game bonus. And the map has a very simplified Steiner Stadium. It is essentially just an empty field unless you're using the 1-page rules for the walls that come up and down. Again, it is essentially a beginner box.
It's each component of the beginner box is in there,
Yep.
but it's a different component, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
each item on the list is in there, but it's a rethought, remade piece.
So hopefully it goes over. And again, like I said, Big Red is here. Gorilla Miniature Games, they both did amazing unboxing videos. Please check out, if you want to look at the stuff up close and personal, go check out their videos. They did an awesome job doing that. Innersphere, maybe this says is. It's hard to sell sometimes. Is early OmniMech pack win, new DS design, redesign, RPG deck plans for the mainline dropship.
That's a good question, right?
I couldn't follow the first part. The last part about deck plans. We've kicked that idea around. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but we've certainly discussed it.
It's a neat idea.
Randall-
Good.
The first part they're asking about was the inner sphere omnis.
Oh, is that what it is? I couldn't tell if it was inner sphere or is.
Inner sphere omnis.
He's got it.
Right. It looks the same. I mean, I don't blame.
Yeah. So we previously we talked about, are there force packs in new force packs being worked on? And we've been saying for a while that faction force packs are coming, and inner sphere omnis would be a part of some of those faction force packs. Absolutely.
Right.
I think we answered this question, but it's because the person who asked it, is there a reason we cannot use a repose YLW in a different pack at some point? No. That's exactly that's the whole reason of doing them. Keep them interesting, or at least especially for different variants. It's actually what the premium line has been doing or is doing now, Randall. That's just it's a reposed variant.
Sometimes they are brand new variants, and sometimes they are just allow you to do multiple poses. So just kind of a case by case basis.
Someone here with a story question from the universe, asking, is Mars's atmosphere breathable? And the J-word hotspots, Terra says yes, as recently as Word of Blake. BattleTech Total Chaos talks about the clans breaching domes and killing people. Has it really degraded that far?
I don't think it's breathable, because isn't that how Zeta died? Jameson died that way.
That current timeline going back to the Succession Wars, and it's domes. During the height of the Star League, Mars and Venus, of all things, were habitable.
Yeah.
Venus, for sure, right at the end of the whole Amaris thing, was abandoned. Mars, I don't know when it went back to dome cities. This is I looked into this within the last year or so for some reason or other. That's what I recall.
It's at least in the Jihad, it couldn't have been, because I distinctly remember that's how members, like, they were breaching cockpits of Zeta to specifically kill them.
Yeah.
With exposure. Yeah. So since then, I don't imagine anyone's been terraforming Mars. That's a different game.
Just because it's 3 months away, someone asked, will Catalyst have a seminar at Gen Con? I didn't see it on the schedule. I think we do occasionally some years. Is that when we do the What's Up with Catalyst at Gen Con?
We haven't actually done one of those in the last few years. I don't know if we used to do them all the time. But with us doing more AMAs and these type of videos throughout the year, we felt less inclined to do them at Gen Con. So I don't believe we have plans to do one this year, because that would have already been submitted and up there.
Yeah. Someone also was had asked, hey guys, I was wondering if you knew how I can get my Clan Invasion pledge that still hasn't been delivered yet. Thanks in advance. Just send an email out to our store at catalystgamelabs.com. We can someone there will be able to help you get your pledge, because we still have all the information for the back end of that. So if you're missing something or stuffs, we can get that out to you.
Absolutely.
We use a lot of MDF cut / etched buildings for the normal tabletop game. Any plans to release anything similar?
Yes, there are plans. We'll leave it at that. There are plans.
There are plans. There's one more. Can't remember. Oh, is there a chance for late pledges? Right. If you are someone who missed out on the Kickstarter and you're like, man, I really missed the Kickstarter, still want to get in, we are currently working on the back end of the backer kit that will allow for late pledging. So I'm assuming in about hopefully 2 to 4 weeks we will be done with all the backing. It's a lot of work that me, Lauren, Randall, Rem, and her team are all putting in, because all the stuff that we did for the Kickstarter we have to do now a second time, which means uploading all the images and data, to backer kit so we can release the late pledge manager. So as soon as we have that done, it will be out there. So for those of you who might be viewing in and aren't an actual backer, don't worry, there will be a late pledge backer, so you can go in and grab your battalion or actually the base $80. Brain has died.
Veteran,
thank you. For those of you who might be a little bit late to the ball game on that.
Yeah, just as a fun clarifier for those wondering why it takes so long, I literally have open a spreadsheet that has over 500 line items of things that have to be put into the backer kit, images put in, all the stats put in, fact checked, verified. You guys, and let's be clear, for those that were a part of the last Kickstarter when we broke Crowdox several times, you guys have broken backer kit. So
yeah, beyond just what they're capable
it is, we go big and you guys go big with us, and that just means it takes a little bit more time than we'd like to get it all ready for you guys, but it is coming soon.
Just for reference, I looked just now on the spreadsheet that has everything in the warehouse, everything that's in the fulfillment warehouse. And Randall, how many did you say was on your spreadsheet?
Over 500 line items.
Everything in the warehouse, every individual SKU right now is 1,200.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 40% of everything
Ever.
that Kettles currently makes, can sell you. 40% of that is being added. That's not reflected in that sheet. So it's a little bit of stuff.
Well, and you have to put in, at least for my data, to be able to then ship it all appropriately, there are 15 columns of data. So 500 times 15. It is a lot of data monkeying.
It just popped up by the Dutchman. Will we be able to trade in our dice in the last Kickstarter for the dice in this one? We have an update that states this very, very clearly. But Randall, correct me if I'm wrong. If you purchased dice from the last Kickstarter, you can pick up a new set of dice from this Kickstarter credited. If you got it for free, there was something about that I can't remember now.
So if you actually purchased additional dice, those will be covered. Those credits will be given to you. For everyone that just got dice for free as part of this campaign, everyone is simply getting one pair of free Chevron dice, and that will cover all of that.
Thank you. Someone has posted any comments on the 60 novels offered on Humble Bundle right now. I mean, awesome. Go get a bunch of books for a really good deal and start reading.
Yeah, we love Humble Bundle. We have a great relationship with them. We have run many things both for BattleTech and Shadowrun. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the question was, but yeah, go check them out. They give a fantastic deal. It's great for a lot of charities that they work with.
Great for us, great for the charity, like
yeah,
in a good way. If you're really if you're quite not yet a novel reader, it's a great way to start becoming a novel reader for our universe, because there's a ton of history covered by those 60 books.
Yep.
Is the technology in /quality for the current BattleTech minis improving over time? I think it kind of jumps and leaps occasionally.
It is absolutely getting better. In fact, a lot of the reviews that we got when the first, like the Aerodyne Light Horse and Hansen's Rough Riders, when those first came out, there was a lot of reviewers commenting on that the quality was just better. And so absolutely, Leah, our manufacturer, huge kudos to John and Leah and Chris and that whole team that are absolutely trying to improve the quality every time they go to print.
Someone's bringing up some more Humble Bundle stuff here. Just another person. I just got back into BattleTech and missed the first Humble Bundle. Any chance that you would work with them for getting that set of books out again? I'm sure John will eventually. I mean, we just got done doing actually 2 different bundles of them, right? We did a novel bundle and then we did a miniature bundle, didn't we?
No, it wasn't miniature. It was
gaming.
No, I thought it was the beginner box.
well, yeah, but
That's
that's
minis.
it was a whole pack of source books and rule books with the beginner box.
Probably the big source book was the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll run them again. It just
They'll just take time.
they cycle through. Yep.
How often do you restock premium mechs like the Clan Buster Black Knight? I think currently we don't.
Actually, we do. That was kind of a special case because that was originally
That was our first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was done with Brent Evans and their process of producing it. They did the trial run that kind of helped make this all possible, but their process is very different than how Monster Fight Club does it. They are working on a reprint of those, but they kind of have to redo it because the processes are just completely different. But a restock of that is absolutely coming this year.
Yeah, I definitely want to get a restock of all the premiums done, especially a lot of the older ones that we did. It'd be great to see those back on our store again.
Yep.
Will Ray or Randall lay fire under Anthony Scroggins' butt to get me the renders for Cockpit Guide 2.0?
Was that Bishop?
I have no idea. I assume it's Bishop, though.
Yes.
So,
Anthony's got some different fires.
Yeah, the problem is Anthony is just chained to his desk in his cave, and he and his team. I cannot say enough giant kudos and thank you to Anthony and his amazing team of artists from all over the world that have made all of this possible. And it's just an endless stream of what has the highest priority. And while I actually really like what's been going on with the cockpit thing, it's tough to put that up over, got to get miniatures out.
Taylor Kloss, I don't know what you're talking about for printing at home, but the premium minis are done through injection molding still on a higher end mold. They're not 3D printed. Can you give us an idea about how many more force packs we can expect by the end of the year?
Well, there's the Great Death Legion that hasn't really been announced yet. So coming to store shelves within the next 3 to 4 months, or maybe more like 2 to 4 months, is that Great Death Legion pack, and then there's the Proliferation pack, Snords Irregulars, and the what am I missing? Proliferation, Urban Mech, Snords. There we go. And then Great Death Legion. There were plans for maybe 2 or 3 more. Those may not happen this year because of the extra force packs that you guys unlocked as part of the Kickstarter. So there may be 1 or 2 more by the end of the year, but they also may not appear because we had to get the new, like I said, the 2 new vehicle packs, and then of course the Somerset Strikers.
Someone goes, "Dear Randall, you announced the GDL pack last April. That's April 2022, not April of this year."
It was in that big. I was trying to wave you. I was in that big announcement, but it was at the end of it.
You're right. I had actually totally forgotten that was that long ago.
It has been quite a while.
These were delayed a little bit too.
No. You guys are absolutely right. I had totally forgotten about that. It's just we haven't talked about it much recently, so
definitely not. Someone had asked any news on new shirts and shirt restocks.
Yeah. So we were doing a pair of t-shirts a month. We took April off because the Kickstarter was just crushing all of us. We plan on getting back. There will be 2 more t-shirts coming out this month, and then we plan on going forward. And then I know restocks are in the works. Since the closing of the Kickstarter, I have not been able to carve out enough time to figure out where in the world that's at. But absolutely, we plan on doing t-shirt restocks, giant, wonderful, awesome spreads because we love it. You guys are, as you can tell from the 3 t-shirts here at the table, and you guys are loving it. So absolutely, more and more are coming.
If you're worried about new t-shirts, note that Randall is wearing one.
Yeah, no, Randall is very much wearing one.
So more coming.
Yeah.
And then for those of you who might not know, we did release because with the cool. I mean, we have cool spring months. Don't know about the rest. Some of you guys on the southeast coast. As Ray shakes his head no. We do also have the Urban Legion hoodies, which are brand new to us as well up on our store currently.
Yep.
And then someone had asked earlier too, and I'm going to tie this into another question that maybe I saved it, but I knew that we would get into shirts eventually. That someone had asked, will we get into other shirt designs other than just faction? The answer I'm going to put out there is yes. No reason that we couldn't, or why not
Sure.
to.
Yeah, I championed all the new faction logo T-shirts, so Talon can dive on trying to do other designs.
I really want to bring back the what is it called? Where we did the inner shirt, the inner mech detailed shirts.
Oh, the
like
blueprints?
The blueprints, and I really loved the athletic shirts personally.
We've got like half a dozen blueprints.
Yeah.
That we could use for that.
Well, the thing that I would actually really love, but this is super expensive and we haven't found how to do it yet, which is back in the 90s, there's a blueprint shirt that was the whole shirt was a blueprint. Like the cloth had literally been made with that as part of it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because
just go pull it out of your closet, Randall.
It's in a bag in my because I never get rid of anything. Such a pack rat.
Is it different than the silk print stuff then, where it's like the shirt just looks like a blueprint, or is it like inherently different?
It goes all even like underneath where they folded over. It's printed. The whole thing is printed that way.
So it's like it's like the silk screens, or not the silk screen, the sub dice stuff that we did with the Red Duke.
Yeah. Yes, but you have to. It's even more than that, though.
Okay.
But it
was a Warhammer, right?
Part what?
It was a Warhammer, right? Chat saying.
No, I think it was a Mad Cat actually. But to be honest, I can't quite remember what mech it was. I just remember it being one of my all-time favorite shirts. But yeah, we will absolutely do more of blueprints. We all love those shirts. More of those will come.
Someone says, I'm curious, have reps from bigger companies reached out and congratulated you guys in private, or do they make so many millions they're not impressed? No, we've had plenty. We have plenty of friends in our industry who reached out and congratulated.
We got slews of them.
Yeah.
During the live stream, that last 24 hours of insanity, got plenty of pings of congratulations. And no, we have wonderful relationships with a lot of great, fantastic companies. I'm an equal opportunity gamer. I love BattleTech to death, but I play every game under the sun.
Someone asked earlier, guess how many minis are on that wall back there behind him?
Those that are wondering what the heck these things are behind me, this is how I organize all my miniature games. And except for some of them where there's 5 trays of Armada because the ships are super big and we were doing a giant campaign 2 summers ago, every one of these has 2 different miniature games in it. There's probably 80 some odd games behind me. So we love other companies. We love cool games. I love playing cool games. They love us. They love BattleTech. We've got great relationships. And yeah, there was lots of high fives and congratulations. It was a very cool.
Our for the most part, for just a little peek behind the door, our industry for the most part, we're not very much a cutthroat industry. Unlike others, we are a lot of the upper end of our industry is about everyone doing good, raises sales together. Just because someone has just because we have a multi-million-dollar Kickstarter doesn't mean that the $2 million Kickstarter that somebody else does that we're friends with isn't as important as ours, because it is, because when they do good, we do good. And in fact, there are plenty of people out there who look at BattleTech and go, awesome. Actually, Randall, maybe we talked about that at some point, how where GW and BattleTech, where a lot of GW people are happy because BattleTech is bringing new miniatures players in, which is just great for the miniatures hobby in general.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of times over the years where I'll be with another game designer and suddenly we'll realize that for the last 5 minutes we've both been going like, no, I like your stuff more. So it's a really wonderful hobby and a wonderful industry to be a part of.
Turbo Turtle, we currently cannot get a reprint of the Red Marauder shirt because the company that I believe, Randall, correct me if I'm wrong, the company that we did it with doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, COVID killed it.
Yeah, yep. COVID killed their company, so we have to go find a new company that can do sub-dye t-shirts.
Yeah, it's a very specialized thing, and very few companies can do it.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate because it was almost, it's probably one of my top 5, easily maybe top 3 shirts I think we've ever.
It was a great,
love that shirt so much.
That image remains one of my favorite images ever.
All right, Mechanical Frog, I've seen you. I don't know where your question is at in my list, but I'll get it answered here. Can CGO look into a school club support program to get armored combat boxes into the hands of future BattleTech fans?
We don't really know where to go. Like I am at least twice a year, I have a program that contacts us, and we inevitably end up sending them some materials. So if there is anyone that has a school that wants to do that, or better yet, has a larger organization that we could tie into, that we might be able to set something like that up, absolutely, please contact us. We'd love to look into that. We just don't, I mean, honestly, we don't have the time to hunt that down too much ourselves. And often we wouldn't even know where to start. So if somebody has a place that they can point us to, please do so.
Someone asked sub-dye, Dustin. I don't know what it actually is the difference, but basically, like, instead of the fabric being colored a generic color, like Randall shirt's just black with a silkscreen print on it, the actual threads were inked somehow. That then made the entire shirt, the entire Red Duke, the Marauder.
Yeah, instead of just this little spot on your t-shirt,
the entire scene was all wrapped around your back, over the sleeves. It was super cool. If you actually look online, I'm sure you can find pictures of this sub-dye shirt. Basically, it's just a full environment shirt. But that company, unfortunately, died after COVID. Did the Kickstarter doing so well open the opportunity for the deal with Target regarding the Essentials box set?
No, that was long in the works. I mean, if you want to hear something funny, I literally stood in the so first of all, as I mentioned, you have to be selling a ton already for them to even give you the time of day. And then PSI, our main fulfillment and distributor, had been pursuing Target ruthlessly. And then he's like, you've got a short, 10-minute meeting with them at Gen Con. And when they showed up in our booth was slammed with people. Whole bunch of artists and lines of fans were at our meeting table. So I'm literally standing in the middle of the booth, tearing open a beginner box and walking Target through the beginner box and what we would do. And that's where that came from. So and then we had to move lightning fast. So it was crazy. And again, the BattleTech team stepped up in a huge way to make this happen at lightning speed. So,
well, I imagine now that Target or whoever works at Target on that end looked at our 7.5 million Kickstarter and went, yes.
Well, the direct buyer, like Todd, who is our direct buyer and knows, absolutely. They're like, wow, this is fantastic. But the moment you step above him, once again, the scale immediately puts us down into, they wouldn't even notice, right? Like this is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's all about that scale. But for our direct connect, absolutely. They contacted us. Big high fives. It's a great moment for everybody.
You're talking about the timing of how that came to be. My favorite little bit about that, I recall, is Randall first brought it to us. Like, we have an opportunity to make a thing for Target. Ray was out that week.
Yeah, that's true.
He was out. I remember you and I talked about, we were kicking some ideas around, some very back of the envelope kind of stuff. And then when Ray came back, he's like, what'd I miss? So I remember I had to kind of walk you into it slowly, like, all right, I'm going to do this in a way it doesn't spike your blood pressure because I don't want to crash anything.
Yeah, brace yourself.
Opportunity. It's exciting. And I got about as far as new beginner box. And it was...
You could see the steam coming out. So
yeah,
I just
this is Ray Support Marauder. See, Ray? Look, Support Marauder. Everything's okay.
Mary Kempen is our lead demo agent extraordinaire. She and the demo agent team have just been killing it these last while. Man, if you could have seen what they did at Adepticon, that was unbelievable how much people they put through the games. Anyways, apparently she's watching because she just texted to say that the demo team often does do schools. They often will go and show stuff off at schools. So yeah, if anyone is like, hey, I'd like my school to be a part of that, please contact us. We'll work on making something happen.
So you're saying that sanity isn't a requirement to run a game company? No, it's not.
Actually, that's kind of an impediment, I think.
Yeah, sanity is an impediment here.
If you were saying, I mean, I am not constitutionally made to do anything but what I do. I was born to do this thing. But it means I'm slightly unhinged. If I was a little more not hinged, I would not be here doing this. Because it is, again, I love it to death. I wouldn't do anything else, but it is insane hours and painful and tough.
That's right. Sanity is for the weak. Can you publish high quality renders or photos of the minis when the pledge manager? Well, it's definitely not going to be minis. Let's be fair, at least for half of them. When the pledge manager goes live, in order to help decide what to get. I mean, everything should have a picture on it going. Kind of.
That is going to quickly cycle us into a discussion. The problem with and again, we're very happy to take on the hard questions if people have the hard questions. And this is a hard question revolving around 3D printing. If we put high quality renders out there, there will be those who will be able to take that and re-engineer them and be able to just print them and sell them themselves. That's exactly what happened coming out of the Clan Invasion. And so I think
a solution could be take the images that go on the pilot cards inside, so people could see, sort of full color. This is what the miniature would look like. It's just that if you take all the packs, multiply that by 4 or 5 or what have you, I don't know how much of a time sink that is on top of.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, and that's not even getting into the fact that we unfortunately have to walk a somewhat fine line.
Yeah.
Over that.
Actually, this is a really good one because I know that we are actually in this and it's related to the Essential, so I'm going to bump it forward. So now that you got Target, what about Walmart? Another exclusive box for them too. You have to be more visible now with the Kickstarter campaign. Actually, we're already in Walmart for something.
No, we're not. Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, when I look at my inventory reports, some of my stuff is in Walmart. I have a Walmart section. Like my hold for vendor section, I have a Walmart section.
I'm not sure I knew that.
It could just be something that just automatically happens, PSI, but like it's there occasionally. I get, Alliance, retail hold for vendor and Walmart and sometimes on some products, not very many.
Yeah, I don't know. That Walmart doesn't really have a games section. Target over the last decade has worked really hard to create a more hobby-oriented section. So, if Walmart comes up to us and says, hey, let's do this thing, well, we're going to talk with them. We would not talk with them. But I'm not sure I really see that happen. They just don't have that dedicated division that would make all the effort and pain worthwhile.
Yeah, hopefully that I just bumped that forward just because it was related to our target thing. So,
yep.
On the Light Horse art, has anyone been talking about the Pegasus Scout hover tank that has too many SRM tubes? I don't even know if we knew it had too many SRM tubes.
This is the very first time that I've heard anyone say that at all. Now I'm gonna have to go look at it.
I see Ray's about to go pull it up now to see it there and start counting the SRM tubes now. Will we get some Wilson's Hussars eventually?
I would say eventually. I'm not going to
say no.
That's the crazy thing. We're up nearly 70 swag items of factions, and yet there's still so many that we haven't gotten to.
So many mechs. I actually thought that we were getting close at one point, and then I remember Randall was like, "No, we have like 800."
Yeah.
Mechs. Like, oh, okay. But no, we were close.
Sorry, you were saying, Ray?
No, just that you recall Wilson's Hussars.
It's
requires
problematic.
Yeah. They all would.
Well, the battlefield support rules include stats for the 30-50 plus asset vehicle variants.
In the trying to remember how that's set up. I believe that there will be 2 variants for every vehicle that's in there, and that one of them will be a Succession Wars era, one of them will be a Clan, one of them will be a Ill Clan era variant, which may or may not be a Clan Invasion era variant, depending upon the given situation. But there will be 2 variants, one not advanced and one of them advanced for every unit.
We just need to spam CGL's people from Mega Make files to set crabs. Really going back to the crab comment, or what was it? What was their best one? The iron crab?
Something like that. One of those. I actually love the idea of getting a heavy crab mech out there, and then we do a crab pack.
I love that. A stone crab.
You have to call it the crab pack. Stone crab.
Any plans to do plastic mech scale drop ships? I really like the one from Hardware Studios, but I'd rather have an official one from.
Yes. They're very hard to produce, so it's being worked on. It's just taking some time to figure out how to manufacture it.
Randall, I'm sure this was targeted at you at some point, but what is your favorite quad mech, and why is it the Great
Turtle? Actually, I'm not sure the Great Turtle is actually my favorite quad mech. It is one of the most ludicrous designs in all of the BattleTech canon. And if anyone has never played against it, you will either love it or just hate it with a passion, because it's such a zombie slog to kill the stupid thing. I'm actually really kind of partial to the Bargeist. I know it doesn't look all that great, but the Bargeist with the heavy Gauss rifle on it is just fantastic. The damage you can, particularly if you're coming in with at least 2 lances, so that it can actually spend a little bit of time doing the hold down to hide all over the map before it comes in at you with that thing. That's just super fun to play with.
Someone said, how can I get a battle mat tube for my battle mats?
There actually is a tactical, what's that thing called? Tactical
carrying case that's been sold out since like 2019.
I think it's been sold out that long, but yes, we are looking to reproduce that or something like it. Absolutely, that's being worked on.
Is there still plans to travel to PAX Australia this year?
There currently, yes.
Short and simple, love that. Are there any notable highlights on the Solaris 7 rules for the Essentials pack? just 1-on-1, or could there be rules for more players to hop in?
There is rules for multiple players to play on it, just like in the original beginner box. You can have there's a little paragraph that explains how to do multiple players.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like the beginner box. It's really not designed for you to stay at that level. It's either I really enjoyed this and I want to go on, or this isn't for me, right? Like that's the whole purpose of the essentials box or the beginner box.
Right. And again, the only thing rule-wise really specific to Solaris in that box is the one-page sheet with optional rules for that streamlined Steiner map.
Yeah.
And those rules you could use with a game of Armored Combat or.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
Yep.
and the stables. There's rules. There's simplified rules for stables.
Correct.
For the different groups on there, and those you could play anywhere.
Yep, absolutely.
Will we see a new Battlemaster show up in a pack?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think there's one currently spec'd out, but who doesn't love the Battlemaster? So I'm sure it will probably cycle back around.
As this AMA was put together for the international community, would you like to take the opportunity to highlight any specific plans you have to support global BattleTech's growth and support?
So the thing that is the most difficult to deal with is shipping. And everyone who is not in the US who has tried to order off of our website absolutely should be upset because the prices are ridiculous. But unfortunately, any game company deals with those exact same insane prices. In fact, there is a trend now, unfortunately, because shipping still remains so terrible, that there's a lot of smaller companies in our hobby that just don't ship outside the US anymore because they just can't do it economically. We have been working long and hard with some hubs and other company distributors. We have one that I was hoping we could have announced a month or two ago that we are still working with to get this new European hub up and running so that we are literally shipping straight from the manufacturer, and a huge chunk of it comes to the US and a big chunk of it heads straight over to Europe to then go out there. So it is all being worked on, but we can't do it ourselves. We have to do it in concert with other companies, and and there's so many laws, particularly the EU has an insane skein of laws that you have to deal with to get into those countries. And so all of that has to be taken into account. So we absolutely are working on it. I've been going to Essen now for several years. Talon and Bren usually come with me. I'm going again. In fact, Lauren and I are attending the UK Games Expo in just like 3.5 weeks. And I'm expanding. My portion of the trip is like a week longer because I'm going to be flying into Ireland to go play in a store all day long with the Irish community, and then I'm going to go over and do the exact same thing in Leeds. There's a chance we'll do the exact same thing in Germany. So we want to support. We want to be there with you guys. We are working on it. It just takes time, unfortunately.
And I'm going to tie in another question because I knew it was in there, so I went looking for it real quick. And it was just any news on the EU hub or German license. It's quite sad that the German novels cannot be bought currently.
Yes, that's the same thing. We are absolutely looking for a new partner on the German side. I can't say how much I enjoy going to Germany. In fact, we're going to Australia, and who in the world would not want to go to Australia? And Australia is at the exact same weekend as Essen.
Hate it so much.
I can't not go and hang out with the German demo agents and the German community and the whole European community. It's just so amazing. I love it. And so, but again, we can't do that by ourselves. We have to be able to coordinate with others. So it is being worked on. It just, there's only so fast we can go, and we've got to have those other relationships that step up with us to make it happen.
From an author / developer point of view, if you could remove one novel and all of its lore and after effects from the BattleTech universe, which novel would it be?
Wow.
Basically, just what novel did you hate the most adding lore into our universe?
Yeah, that's I mean, let's face it, in a very long-term universe with 100 novels and dozens and dozens of authors, everyone is going to have a novel that they like the least, right? That's just not, it's not possible to go like every novel was amazing. And so, yeah, I have one or two novels that I really dislike. And it's less about, like, I'm far more forgiving on the lore side because there's very few novels that are so unbelievable game changer lore wise that you can't go a few years down the road and go, yeah, that didn't quite work, so let's come up with some cool new storylines, right? Whereas I look at the novels, just, was it a good novel? Was it enjoyable? Did it do something cool with the universe? And when that fails, that's when I'm like, no, that novel is my least favorite. Now, do you actually want me to say what my least favorite novel is?
What's the book? Hold on, what's the book that Lauren's supposed to be writing again?
It's Den of Wolves.
Den of Wolves. Yeah, Den of Wolves. There we go.
No, Stackpole and Lauren, don't let you hear me say this out loud near either one of them. But they're phenomenal writers. I still think Lauren's Double Blind is just one of the best standalone novels in the whole series. No, I think if I had to pick one, for me, Star-Lord, I think is just one of the worst novels. I just think the story was just terrible.
So,
Ray, you gonna pick one?
well, there isn't a single novel that I would pull. There are maybe a few that I would love to see completely redone, but I don't see any that should not exist, and we're including Far Country. There's just some that I would love to see redone.
See, I will say over and over, Far Country, I think, is a perfectly good science fiction story. Just didn't feel very BattleTech.
It opens doors that were better left shut. I like Ray's answer because it kind of goes a little bit with, I'm going to pick 3, the Proving Grounds trilogy. Only because when people say I don't like the Dark Age, what I hear them saying is, I read the Proving Grounds trilogy and hated it. There's still a lot of shovel work we're doing to make the Dark Age and the Oakland era likable.
Well, and that you're absolutely right, Aaron. But to me, that's one of those examples of that was an experiment that was tried at the time. Jordan is the first one that will tell you, hey, I apologize, that experiment did not work. But then because the IP is robust enough and awesome enough, you can go beyond it, right? It doesn't kill the IP necessarily.
No single book could.
Yeah, exactly.
Question about Gen Con. What is the real difference from the championship game and...
Oh, that's a better question for the demo agents. I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea, sadly. Mary's going to text one of us now. I know it.
Sure. I mean, if somebody wants to explain it, that's fine. But I do not want to wade into that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do not have that answer. Not between us 4. Are we ever going to find out what happened to Arthur Steiner Davian, or is that thread just not worth it?
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm assuming that means that it's just not worth continuing.
Well, it's got to be in the right context. If we reveal it to Jihad, behind the scenes, we know what happened to him. It just never really made it clearly onto the page. But because of that, that means that there are other directions we could go. It's just there's no where do we put that information?
Yeah.
So as of right now, there isn't anything.
Yeah, if you hear us talk about, and a lot of this came out in all the live streaming we did at Adepticon. If you hear us talk a lot about the fiction, you'll almost inevitably be like, well, we're waiting for the right story. And so this very much would fall in the category of we're waiting for the right story. And if the right story comes along, then yeah, awesome. That's amazing. Let's do that. But until then, we have hundreds and hundreds of characters and amazing things we're already doing. You know, you wait for the right moment and the right story before you do something.
The question, Charlie Tango, oh, hey, it's Charlie. What is the difference, Charlie, between the championship and the open? Hopefully he hears that. While he is writing an answer out to it, hopefully I see as I'm reading other stuff. Are you guys going to see a Legend Killer become canon for its 60-ton version from MechWarrior Online / MechWarrior 5? Because that variant is killer.
I'll leave that to Ray to answer.
Legend Killer was addressed in the Legends source book.
Okay.
So to sum it up, it is a regular 60-ton rifleman. However, it's decked out with ancillary equipment, which would get, if you played it on the table, it would get into all the optional rules for special sensory equipment and all kinds of options. Yeah, special neural helmet, that kind of thing. But ultimately, there was just no way he could hide some super secret, tricked out rifleman, on Solaris. And that's what it was presented as, bog standard rifle.
Awesome. Is there a rough timeline for how specific lances, the Hauptmann, the Mention, the Song, etc.?
No, not really, because then you're asking about specific miniatures, and then we would just have to go through, what our current planned list is that gets shuffled around. Some things get pushed back, get tabled. Couldn't give you a timeline on a specific miniature, let alone if he guesses a lance correctly. Or did I go somewhere else with that?
Yeah.
Guys?
No. Yeah, I got nothing to add.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. Will there be a chance to have a Leopard dropship full size for tabletop? We answered that earlier. The answer is yes. It's just really complicated. It'd be awesome to have a Leopard out there, though. Will there be a chance for box sets involving all the hero mechs of Inner Sphere and Clan?
Box set, all the hero mechs.
Like legendary?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. If you happen to still be here with the question about the box sets involving the hero mechs, can I get a little bit more context? That would be awesome. I'll keep that at the top there and highlight it just in case I happen to see your addendum to that question. Could we see an Aerotech manual someday?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. Will the Target exclusive come to the Catalyst store at some point for us non-USA peeps in New Zealand? Yes, I imagine it'll eventually hit our web store. At some point?
I think a better way to phrase that is we should assume no. But of course, we are working on that, and time will tell. But I don't want to give any impressions that, of course it'll come in a year or two. This is the very first time we've had this opportunity. Again, as a great indicator of how big BattleTech is, this has never happened before, right? Even at the height of FASA, when BattleTech was as big as it was in the 90s, they never got into a box store. So we ultimately are in very new territory here. As I mentioned right at the beginning of the AMA, we have already started asking the questions about what are the parameters. But I just don't want to give any false sense of, oh yeah, it'll absolutely happen. But we will work hard to try and do what we can do.
That's fair. My brain was immediately going to like a year or two from now when Target doesn't have it as an exclusive anymore.
And we just don't know. Maybe they might. So we'll just have to wait and get there.
Any plans to release map sets at a larger scale at 1.75?
Oh, meaning hex.
I assume they're going to mean the hex size at 1.75.
I mean, I wouldn't, never say never. We've released a lot of stuff that I never thought we'd be able to. Plushies, I'm looking at you. But I'm not sure there's any current even thought of changing the scale of the hexes for a map set.
Yeah, it'd be a little odd. It's almost twice. Oh, it's almost a quarter of the size larger.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the purpose of that would be.
Scale, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So
I can only imagine it's for scale.
So the current plan is no. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I think I imagine what they're doing is they want a hex that's big enough to be able to put a mech and a vehicle in it. So you don't have
That's
to have.
what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting is that the scale
Right.
versus the mech. Now that we have scale for the mechs, the hex is the actual, like it's 30 meters, whatever the
Got it. I don't think there's again, never say never, because none of us have any plans on going anywhere anytime soon. We're in it for the long haul, but there's no current plans.
Atlas, we answered this earlier, but we mentioned earlier that we would love to see some of the super heavy mechs come into plastic. And I mentioned earlier that I would love to see the Omega as well. But if you happen to catch, earlier we did answer that question. The answer is yes, we'd love to. We don't have, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, it was not current plans, but we would love to see it.
Yes, we've talked about it. We have ideas, but there's nothing planned. There's no definitive thing scheduled. But yeah.
Awesome. Without inflation, I really love this question, actually, Raphael. Thank you for asking it. Without inflation, is BattleTech bigger now than during the FASA era at its height?
Can we all answer that?
Sure.
simultaneously.
Go for it.
100%.
Yes.
Now, so to be clear, because I love being as upfront as possible, there is no way to actually go back and look at their data to our data. That being said, I started work there in 96, and I've talked with people that worked with BattleTech all the way back to the very beginning, and we have an excellent sense of what the sales were, and it is pretty definitive that BattleTech currently is selling better than in all the 40 years it's ever been on sale, which is just phenomenal.
I could throw in my perspective as a long time fan, like you, Randall, almost to the beginning. I've got some pretty thick nostalgia goggles. So, that classic era, what we would always call the golden age, is always at the forefront of my mind. But the reality now is we are in the golden age.
Yeah.
This is the now new golden age.
There's no doubt. I mean, I don't have the nostalgia goggles. I came in, as I've said in other formats, at sort of the dark times. And a couple of years ago, I've told this story before, but a couple of years ago, when I was learning about distribution and the way of the world with the gaming industry, and Randall and Ray were helping me teach me that, Randall literally used box stores as the example of a thing we could never do. I asked, like, well, I see D&D and like Target, and what about these? And it was like, no. BattleTech doesn't have that kind of profile with these particular stores. It's just not something that's ever going to be in the cards. And here we are talking about the product that's going to be in Target. I mean, it was out of hand, impossible.
Yeah, it's actually one of the cool things that I've been along for this ride for this whole time, that I'm able to say that and I believed it, and I
Sure.
am gloriously happy to have been totally wrong.
Big Red goes, this is the Silver Age because the Silver Age was way better than the Golden Age when it came to the comics.
Sure. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll take that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, actually, another thing that Aaron said about the Essentials once targeted originally. Oh, actually, I'll go ahead and throw this out here just to show you how painful it is to get in the door with Target. We had to pull the trigger on actually spending money and start the production on this before Target had actually told us that yes, we were going to be allowed in, right? Like, that's how crazy it is that Target can do that. But as the numbers were coming in, as we're getting there, and as we realized at the end of the day it was going to be 60,000 copies, Aaron made this wonderful comment, which is, there's an excellent chance that several years from now, there will be a whole generation of players whose first box set is the Essentials. That's so incredibly cool. I love that so much.
I hope so.
I did get an addendum to the question from earlier for those hero mechs. If any of the hero mechs from the digital games will make it into force packs from MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries or MechWarrior Online.
I mean, the named variants coming up in ours, that might happen. Their actual models, what they look like in their game showing up in ours, that would not happen. But maybe having some cool
maybe someday they come up to us and ask us to do the models for them.
Yeah, so
that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
we've pulled a couple into the rec guides, the recognition guide series of PDFs.
Oh,
there have been some of those variants that have been canonized out of the games.
Nice,
but not by, as Randall says, they look like our stuff.
Yeah.
Will we be seeing more? Oh, actually, I did see that our demo, Tango and the Callus demo team both came in for the question earlier about what the difference between the Open and the BattleTech Championship circuit is. And for those of you who might have missed it in chat, because I certainly did, I had to scroll back up and find it after Tango asked if he needed to retype it again, was that the Open is set by predefined units by the event planner, and it's secret until you get to the event what the units are going to be. In the championship circuit, you design and bring your own forces, so it's more of a traditional fight out rather than a predetermined like style of play.
I kind of love the not that I would ever be able to play at a convention, but outside of Masters of Minions, but showing up and then just being handed a force that you have to figure out quickly and play, that sounds amazing. That's super fun.
So when I just look up and I see someone just goes, you guys need a patch for longtime fans of I Survived the Dark Times. I survived BattleTech Dark Age.
Yeah, so as another funny anecdote that I can laugh now, when the beginner box and a Game of Armored Combat were released for back in 2018, so 5 years ago now. Yeah, 5 years ago now. We would go to a convention and we would endlessly get "You're bringing BattleTech back," and that used to crush my soul because, of course, I've been in the trenches this entire time, helping make product this entire time. And about 2 years ago at the Clan Invasion, I reached a point of just gladly going, "Yes, we are," and here, come jump in.
It just gave up.
And then what was cool at Adepticon is we sold and sold and sold and played and played and played. And they were practically like we were selling our floor mats almost. Like, it was insane what happened at Adepticon. Giant shout out again to our amazing demo agents. Big shout out to Adepticon. The guys that run Adepticon, the people are amazing. but we did not hear that once. And that was another great milestone.
It was in fact, I feel like it was an indicator of where BattleTech has gone.
It is an indicator that no one was asking that. They were just, I want more. What's the next cool thing to get? And that, what an amazing milestone to hit.
Yeah. I agree with you, Randall. Hearing the, oh, you brought BattleTech back, that was painful for show after show after show.
Several years of pain.
For like 4 years.
That was painful. So I think we're going to 8, right?
Yes, I believe so. We have about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so kind of like 10 more minutes of people.
Big Red goes, are you guys bringing BattleTech back, though? Get out of here, Big. Get out of here, Red.
We get you, Red.
Never heard of Adepticon until this Kickstarter campaign, guys. Hey, then the live streams and the campaign did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Well, and to be honest, Adepticon is a tabletop miniature only convention. There actually isn't a lot of those. And so you're right. I think it's a wonderfully best kept secret. I had never heard of it until I went 3 years ago the first time. And now it's actually one of my all-time favorite shows to go to. It's just so incredible.
Me and Brent have been running that show for the last couple. Actually, the year before COVID is actually our first year that we went, and we were so excited with it that we just kept going back.
Yep,
it's been so much fun. Someone puts out there, any chance of seeing a scale model of a battle mech, like a reveal, I'm assuming that's a Revel or Toyama. 172 scale model like tanks and other vehicles. I'd love to see that. Not that we have anything like that, but I'd love to see something that big.
Are they referring to like
a big scale, like a model?
Oh, so like Gundam, actual like.
I believe the Gundam ones are a 172.
I would kill to see something like that.
I would kill. I would. It's on my to-do list. I would love to see those BattleTech.
That would be super.
To see a
amazing.
battle mech of any of them be like a Gundam put together with like really nice shiny pieces and everything. Yeah, exactly. A fistful of C-bills, a model kit.
But also, to be clear, once again, that's scale. The companies that do that are $100 million companies. So.
And you need to actually go and hire somebody with the brains to deconstruct a model to then make it.
So we'd love to see it, but that's a big mountain to climb. Now I want to climb that mountain, but that's a big mountain we'll have to forge.
Yeah. Any chance of getting other lances for the various Merc units? We have the Northland Highlander Command Lance, but how about a support, recon, etc.?
No, the likelihood of that is pretty low. It's between that and doing a new unit or a new thing, and the new thing is almost always going to win out over that. Particularly when you just have so many force packs that you yourself can use the great rules out of the campaign operations to just build your own lances.
Any darn it, I just had this question. Where did it go?
Down to 7 minutes.
I know. Oh, there it is. Can you give an explanation of which books are best to read to get into later eras? Lore-wise, I'm stuck in Clan Invasion, and I would like to change that.
Ooh. I think there's a couple of good ways to do that. I guess part of that is do you just want to, if you're in the Clan Invasion and you just kind of want to leap forward, that's one thing. If you want kind of an abridged list where you could read a couple of novels that would carry you forward, those are two very different things. The abridged list would take much longer than we have for the video to put together, but that's actually kind of a cool idea to put together a short list. We could work with John to put together a list of, say, here's the 6 or 8 must-read novels that would immediately get you up to the Ill Clan era. I think the universe book that Ray has been slaving on is going to be a superb way to read that. And then you might be able to just leap straight forward to the Il Clanaire and grab the first novels there. I think another pretty good way is grab something just like the Eridani Light Horse short story anthology that has a short story that starts all the way in the Star League and then just kind of hits almost every era all the way up to the Il Clan era. So I think there's a couple of different ways you could do that. But that's a really good idea for us to put something together that we could then publish out there to go, here's 2 or 3 ways you could do that. I like that idea. We should talk to John about that.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Someone, just because it's a quick question of any plans for more BattleTech armor at this time? I know that Thomas Crater has been asking for a while.
There are plans. Yes, I would say there are plans.
Will you be live streaming from cons this year? Yes, it's our plan to continue live streaming from other cons. We really enjoyed what we did at Adepticon. Now, it might not be as grandiose as what we did at Adepticon, because that was painful. But yes, there are plans that we want to do, not only live streaming with our friends at with Thomas, but doing our own internal live streaming at our booth as well.
Yeah.
Going forward at other shows because we really enjoyed it. And since we are down to the last 4 minutes before we or longer depending on how long people talk as we wave goodbye here, it'd be really, since next year 2024 will be our 40th anniversary for BattleTech, and so someone asked, what can you tease about next year for the big 40th anniversary? Means big plans, right? Anything that we have that we want to tease or talk about the 40th anniversary, since that's kind of our next big milestone after the Mercenaries campaign.
Yeah, I like teasing as much as the next person. I think the plans are just a little too soft for us to really tease anything. The amount of time and effort that the Kickstarter took to get out the door just, sucked the company inside out. And so we have some incredibly cool ideas. I'm hoping to blow us away. I'm hoping to blow all you guys away. But I think we're still just a little too soft before we tease anything.
No,
Ray will be assumed bodily into heaven.
Yeah.
The 40th anniversary.
Put it another way, we actually have lots and lots of plans, really ambitious plans. So I rather not tease anything.
Yeah.
Until the things are more solid.
This question came up a couple times in the stream of when are we going to find out more about what's coming. I know in the forums I've said that on the upcoming releases thread too, that we'll put a calendar together with the Kickstarter and trying to make sure that we deliver that, and moving some pieces around the calendar. We'll have a roadmap of product eventually.
Yeah.
It's just too many moving pieces right now to say, like you did last year, here's what the next 12 months hold. I mean, you saw it in the Kickstarter. That's what they hold.
Della Drendil. Whew, that is a name. If you go back to the very beginning of our AMA, we actually answered the question about why the decision for the exclusives were done for the essentials and stuff like that. So please go back to the very beginning. We answer. It's like the first thing that we answer within the first 10 minutes. So
it was a 10-15 minute discussion.
Yeah, about strictly the BattleTech essentials and what it meant for other exclusives in our industry, in general. I was like, well, if you guys didn't want to tease anything, then what's something you want to leave off with on today's AMA then?
Well, I just want to try to convey that I absolutely, we understand the emotions surrounding the essentials box. Like, again, we had many discussions about this. We are aware, we understand, we are the biggest fans of BattleTech. I love getting the new thing in my lap. so we completely understand. What we're hoping that this helped to convey, and we will be continuing to talk throughout the year about it, is what this means for BattleTech as a whole, and the dividends that the Essentials box will pay to BattleTech and will pay to every player. There is such massive dividends that could come out of this that will impact in a wonderful way every player, including all of those that maybe can't get it right now. And hopefully, it's not a lot of solace right now, and we completely understand. But we hope in a little bit of time, with a little bit of hindsight, you'll be able to see that, holy crap, this was a watershed moment for BattleTech, and there's just all the more cool stuff and all the more people playing because of this moment.
Yeah, it really feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, Randall. It really feels like moments like these in our industry and hobby trade don't come around very often.
Let's be honest. There is no for mainstream tabletop miniature games. Now, I could be wrong on this, so somebody pointed out to me if I was. I have no problem with that. But I keep a pretty good track of this stuff, and I'm pretty sure that there has never been a mainstream tabletop miniatures product on a Target shelf. There has been adjacent products, but a straight up, here's a tabletop miniatures game, and it leads you into the rest of the line, has never appeared on a Target shelf. Think about that. That says such amazing things about how awesome BattleTech is and how amazing you guys have helped make it, right? Like we would not be here without you guys. You raised it to this level, and this opened this door that can be just so massive for us and for you guys.
Ray, Aaron, last thoughts?
Sorry, Aaron?
I mean, Randall said it well. Look, there was never any intent to harm or to take away from anything. The opportunity is amazing. As I said a minute ago, this was something that 5, 6, 7 years ago was not just a long shot, but unthinkable. And there are, opportunities that will come from this opportunity. Who knows, in 5 to 7 years from now, what seems impossible now might not be. So, stay with us. We're going to try and make it right where we can and keep going.
Ray?
I don't really have anything to add to what Randall and Aaron said. This is really a great thing for BattleTech, and every step of the way, we did keep our fans in mind, all of them. And we try to with everything that we develop and produce. And again, we really appreciate all the love and support you all have shown, and want to keep BattleTech going strong.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the AMA today with us. Hopefully, we got as many questions as we could answer, not only about Essentials, which was our big topic for the AMA today, but obviously some generic BattleTech questions for the Kickstarter, lore, novels, etc. We will continue doing more of these, so please hit the bell icon, hit the like, share, subscribe to the channel. This does help boost us out, and not only that, but it helps other BattleTech fans who are on YouTube looking for such questions get their questions answered. So you guys have a wonderful night. For Australians, have a wonderful morning. And for those few Europeans who I have seen here, go to bed. We love you, but go get some sleep. So have a great night, guys, and we will see you in the next AMA.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,